Construct validity. Construct validity. A test has construct validity if it accurately measures a theoretical, non-observable construct or trait. There are a number of ways to establish construct validity. One of them, item analysis. Item analysis is a statistical procedure which is conducted to assess the construct validity of a test, which includes measurement of item difficulty and item discrimination, and the destructors analysis in MCQ. Item difficulty represents the percentage of students who answered a test item correctly. This means that low item difficulty values, for examples 28, 56, indicate difficult items, since only small percentage of the students got the item correct. Conversely, high item difficulty values 84, 96 indicate easier items, as a greater percentage of students got the item correct. The acceptable item difficulty range between 030 to 070. Here we have these test papers. With these test papers, as you note, you have question 1 for reading. With the question 1 we have A and B, and then reading comprehension, unseen passage, reading comprehension, then grammar, vocabulary, writing, and writing. This the test papers. These questions, question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4. Our work is on items, not questions. Item, this item, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. Item 1 within question 2, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, etc. These are the items, or what we call items. Look at here. Here we have reading, unseen passage, and reading comprehension questions. As you see here, we have true false here for measuring, for example, knowledge within the reading skill. Here we have another type of a question, complete the questions. Maybe here we have an item for measuring understanding in writing, etc. Again, here, what is the name of the car of the year, the understanding in reading. And here we have the grammar, do as required, to measuring applying in grammar, or knowledge in grammar. Question 4, use the words, and here we have vocabulary. Again, here we measure the knowledge, or memorizing the knowledge, the first level with vocabulary. Here with writing, punctuation, writing. Here applying with writing, the use of punctuation mark correctly. How we can find out the difficulty of each item, the difficulty and the discriminations of each item. Here we have the final scores, 32, 31, 30, 26, 22, etc. Yes. We sorted these scores from the largest to the smallest, or from the large to the small. Scores. Of course, in front of each score of each paper, the score of each item. For example, the items of a question 1. Unseen passage. Question 1. Item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. And for the papers with 32 as a final score. With the item 1, the students get 2. With item 2, get 2. With item 3, get 0. Item 4, 0. Item 5, 0. And accordingly the others. First step, sorting the scores from the largest to smallest. Here we have 20 papers, 20 scores, final scores. First step, ranging or sorting the scores from the largest to the smallest. Of course, in front of each of them, the scores of the items, and then the final marks should be sorted from the largest to the smallest, as shown in the previous slide. Then select the higher and lower groups, divided the total number, divided Here we have the 20 scores. We will divide them into two groups. 10 the higher group and 10 the lower group. The higher group and the lower group. Selecting the higher and lower group. For selecting the higher and the lower groups, we have two procedures. First, if we have large numbers of students, 80 and more, we should select the highest 27% of the marks as a higher group and 27% of the lowest mark as a low group. If we have small numbers of students, 70 and less, they could be divided into two groups, the high and the low, just like in our sample. We have 20 and divided the whole group into two groups, high and low. But if we have large sample, no, we will select the higher 27% and the lower 27%. The formula of the difficulty factor is just like you see. Here we have the difficulty power total of the higher group and the total of the lower group, 2 by n, subject number. For example, here we have subject number, mean the number of subjects in each group. Here in our example we have 10 with each group, 10 higher group and 10 lower group. Then n here means 10. S, the score of the item. For example, in our example we have 2 as a higher score of each items. 2 as a higher score of each item. Here 2. This what do we mean by S? 2 the higher score of each item. Here we have an example. First item, we select the items after sorting the final scores from the largest to smallest. Here we find the score of the higher group, 2 by 10, 20. The score of the lower group, 17. Here the total 37. and 2 means the higher and the lower, two groups, the higher and the lower groups. 10, the number of students with each group, the number of students with each group. 2, this 2, the score of the item, the higher score of the item, and here we have 2, the higher score of the item. Here we get the score. Since the acceptable difficulty factor should be ranged from 030 to 070, if less or more the item is not valid and should be changed. Here we have 92, the item not valid because it is very easy and should be changed. Item discrimination is the degree to which students with high overall exam scores also got a particular item correct. It is often referred to as item effect, since it is an index of an item's effectiveness at discriminating those who know the content from those who do not know. With discrimination, we will discriminate who know and who do not know. Here we have the discrimination. Discrimination, again, total of the upper group, not plus but minus. Differs from the difficulty. Here we have minus, and the total of the lower group. Here on we have only the number of one of the groups, only higher or lower. For example, here of course we have 10, and S the score. Here we have an example. I select here two items, item 1 here, and here supposed to item 2, sorry, here not item 1 but item 2, another item here supposed to item 2, not 1. Here not item 1 and here item 2. With item 1 we have number of number of students. Here I have 14 students with scores 23, 2 with item number 1, 16, 1 with item number 1, 45, 3, 25, 2, 55, 3. Here we will sort. Here we have before sorting and here after sorting. Here we will sort from the largest to smallest, after sorting them or rearranging them from higher to smaller. Now we have 55, and of course with 55 we put the item in front of it. 3, 45, 3 again, 45, 3, 38, 2, 2. Here we sorting from the largest to smallest and put the item for each one in front of its score. Now the discrimination, the total of the higher group and minus the total of the lower group. Here we have 14 scores, divided them into two groups, the higher and the lower, into two groups, the higher and the lower. The sum of the higher group 18 and the sum of the lower group 8, 18 minus 8, and then number of one group and number of students within one of the groups. Here with one of the group we have 7, 3 the score of an item here, the higher score of an item 3, the higher score of an item 3. Yes, here we get O48. To judge if it is valid or not should be range between O20 to 1. Since it is O48, then here we have the item discriminated or valid. Thank you.